Camarote 21 de hoje é uma edição especial sobre o arquiteto Daniel Libeskind, um mestre das construções simbólicas.
Architecture is very positive. I always say it's the most optimistic of all fields because you feel you can move forward with it. More than in any other field, you can make life better, more practical, more beautiful.
Daniel Libeskind é um artista nato, um espírito criativo com muitos talentos. Quando mais jovem, foi músico. Entrou para a arquitetura relativamente tarde, com mais de 50 anos. E chegou para ficar. Desde então, realizou dezenas de projetos imponentes em todo o mundo. Hoje em dia, ele é considerado um mestre em sua área, requisitado especialmente para projetos de forte valor simbólico, como o Ground Zero de Nova York ou o Museu Judaico de Berlim, o primeiro projeto de sua carreira. Um contrato inesperado, como lembra o arquiteto.
Well, not only did I not realize a major project, this was a first building that I actually drew. I never entered a competition beforehand. My good luck was that this was an anonymous competition. There was not a sort of like, what works did you do before? Show us your license. Where did you work? How big is your office? I had no office. I was just on my own in an apartment building with a few friends. I had not produced a single piece of architecture beforehand.
O Museu Judaico foi inaugurado em 2001. Como o arquiteto vê seu primeiro projeto depois de 20 anos?
I always feel that the building looks fresh. It hasn't aged. Of course, it's been many, many years since it was constructed, but to me it feels sort of brand new in its light, in its unexpected spaces.
Corredores enviesados, esquinas e cantos por toda parte. Uma arquitetura que desconcerta e provoca sensações físicas. Especialmente nos chamados voids, os espaços vazios. Eles simbolizam aqueles que faltam, as vítimas do Holocausto. Olhando para o prédio hoje com mais distância, você faria tudo de novo, do mesmo jeito?
In architecture, in art in general, there is only one way. It's not a relative thing. You would do this or you would do this. You have a mission to create something. You cannot create a project just to try it out. You have to understand how it will work. You have to have kind of longevity as part of your thought, at least my thought. So architecture is not just an experiment. It's a fact, and that's how I designed it.
Nos anos 90, após a queda do muro e a reunificação da Alemanha, Daniel Libeskind participou de diversos editais para a construção de obras públicas em Berlim. Entre eles, a reestruturação da Alexanderplatz, uma das praças mais emblemáticas da cidade, que voltava a ser a capital de uma única Alemanha. Enquanto demais candidatos apoiavam a demolição dos prédios que haviam restado do regime socialista, Daniel Libeskind defendia que eles fossem mantidos. Obras antigas e novas deveriam conviver lado a lado.
I say I did not win the competition, but I actually did. All those fantasies of getting rid of everything and putting a new Alexanderplatz have come to nothing because I didn't see anything wrong with Alexanderplatz. Alexanderplatz is a kind of beautiful place. It needs a lot more things to be happening.
Mas, por exemplo, os prédios que foram construídos em Berlim nos anos 60, 70, aqueles grandes complexos, alguns não funcionaram mais depois de um tempo.
Well, of course, but there is such a thing as good architecture and bad architecture. Good architecture, even if it was built during the brutalist time or time of post-war, is still great architecture. We still recognize it amidst all the other mediocrity. So, yes, there is such a thing as architecture of its time.
Daniel Libeskind não se contenta com soluções simples. Ele quer construir prédios com significado. E, em pouco tempo, passa a ser considerado um especialista da arquitetura de valor simbólico, construindo memoriais e museus espetaculares em todo o mundo. Nos projetos icônicos, é fácil reconhecer a assinatura do arquiteto no traço assimétrico, dinâmico e repleto de cantos. Você prefere os cantos e essas proporções especiais. Você também poderia fazer formas redondas, mas normalmente não faz. Por quê?
Why?
Well, I cannot answer why it looks this way. It's just what I do. It's not something premeditated. It's not something that I decided to make an oblique window by some sort of decision. It just comes out like that when I, draw the window. It's not this way, it's not that, it's that way. There is no formula for it. It's not something that I can put into a theory even. It's just something that looks correct to me in this particular space, in this particular program, in this particular sense of creating a building.
Um dos projetos mais radicais do arquiteto está em Dresden, no leste da Alemanha. Aqui ele colocou uma enorme cunha de aço no antigo prédio clássico do Museu de História Militar. A arquitetura como uma declaração de guerra contra a violência armada. O topo da obra aponta para a cidade, que ficou em ruínas após o bombardeio dos aliados em 1945.
Cities are like human beings. They have a heritage, and you have to get in touch with that heritage, but not by nostalgia, not by sentimentalism, not by imitation, not by Disneyland. Even if a building wants to be exactly like in the past, we know it's fake. We know it's a facade. We know it's a stratagem to make us really swallow something we cannot really swallow. So yes, history is part of our lives.
Daniel Libeskind nasce em 1946 em Łódź, na Polônia, filho de sobreviventes do Holocausto. Aos 11 anos, emigra com a família da Polônia comunista para Israel. E de lá para Nova York em 1960.
Home is not a piece of land to me. It's not some territory. It's not about here's the blood and here is the soil. And not at all. Home is wherever there are people. I'm an immigrant because I wasn't born in New York. I came from, I grew up under, totalitarian regimes. And when I came to New York, I smelled that sense of freedom, that sense, that aroma of diversity and complexity and the jungle that democracy also is. And how lucky for me that my parents, who were, after all, just factory workers, how New York gave me the opportunity to study, to be educated. I didn't go to Ivy League schools where you have to pay a lot of money. I went to schools that were free, that gave, full scholarships to, students they accepted.
E assim Daniel Libeskind cresce no Bronx. A família dele mora em um dos primeiros apartamentos cooperativos de Nova York. Décadas mais tarde, ele abre o próprio escritório de arquitetura em um dos bairros mais caros da cidade, Manhattan. E lá assume o projeto mais difícil de sua carreira. Seu projeto mais importante foi o Ground Zero, em Nova York, em Manhattan, onde mais de 2.800 pessoas morreram no terrível ataque de 11 de setembro. Onde você estava?
Where have you been there?
Actually, I was in Berlin at 9/11, 2001, when the attacks in New York happened. I still have my studio here in Berlin. I was working in Berlin, but I turned to my colleagues and to my wife and I said, just when I saw those images of destruction of New York, I said, I'm returning back to New York. I was selected through a very complex competition to become the master planner of the whole site, to come up with ideas what to do, how to address not only the loss of thousands of lives, but also how to bring back through this fatal event the idea of New York and democracy and freedom.
Uma ideia que Daniel Libeskind concretiza com novos arranha-céus, áreas residenciais e comerciais. O alicerce das torres destruídas do World Trade Center ele decide deixar à vista. Para ele, estava fora de cogitação construir qualquer coisa sobre a área. Ela deveria se tornar um memorial.
I was the one who brought many symbolic elements. The tallest tower, 1776 feet high, well, you think it's just a number, who cares? But numbers are important. 1776 is the date of the Declaration of Independence. The waterfalls to screen the sound of busy streets of New York. That was my idea, to create a connection between cultural buildings and business, to create a balance between memory and also the optimism that New York is so famous for, to go to the bedrock and to expose the foundations of the site, the slurry wall. It was just a piece of real estate. Nobody declared this as a special zone. To me, it was obvious that it's about public space and it's about memory. Now you go there and it's the neighborhood. It's no longer this darkness.
Some critics
Alguns críticos dizem que seus prédios são simbólicos demais, que estão sobrecarregados de simbolismo. O que você acha disso?
say to that.
You know, who was it? I think it was somebody very smart who said, there is nothing in the world which is not symbolic. We are doomed to meaning. Even the stupidest building that has nothing to tell you, tells you, I've got nothing to tell you. But that's a very sad little story. Everything speaks to us. There's nothing which is just immune to it. And so, yeah, buildings have meaning. Some architects think that buildings are just abstract, abstractions. They have no meaning. Well, good luck to them.
Nós vamos a um rápido intervalo. Até já! Camarote 21 de volta, hoje com uma edição especial sobre o arquiteto Daniel Libeskind. O primeiro projeto residencial de Libeskind em Berlim é inaugurado em 2016. O condomínio luxuoso é erguido em um terreno urbano que pertencia a proprietários judeus antes da Segunda Guerra Mundial. O arquiteto batiza o edifício de Safira, uma gema brilhante e, segundo ele, áspera, dura, estável e resiliente como Berlim e os berlinenses. Isso além de sustentável. As placas de cerâmica revestidas de titânio convertem o dióxido de carbono em oxigênio, em um processo semelhante ao das plantas. Para tornar sua arquitetura o mais sustentável possível, Daniel Libeskind não apenas recorre às tecnologias mais recentes. Ele também costuma usar materiais locais, como no Centro de Congressos em Mons, na Bélgica, com uma faixa de alumínio e madeira nativa da região atravessada com a chamada pedra azul belga. O resultado é um edifício amplo, inundado de luz e barato, graças ao conceito minimalista e aos materiais regionais. E mesmo quando o arquiteto constrói de forma menos modesta, a ecologia segue em foco. Em Singapura, em Keppel Bay, passarelas verdes conectam os arranha-céus em alturas vertiginosas, uma das medidas para baixar a temperatura. Vidros duplos, reciclagem de água, energia solar, Libeskind aplica todo o glossário da construção sustentável.
Sustainability is a key issue. We cannot exploit the world in the way we have done it before. But at the same time, sustainability is memory. What is memorable? This is why we even keep old ruins, and we dust them off and we protect them and we make them inaccessible because the ruins contain memory. And we want to protect it. So memory, to me, is the ultimate goal of sustainability. When something is memorable, you take care of it.
Okay. You have built
Você construiu grandes complexos residenciais em vários países, inclusive na Ásia, o que já vai um pouco para o lado do planejamento urbano. O que é importante considerar quando se constrói estruturas deste porte?
Well, I'm involved in housing because that's, to me, the most important thing that architects can do. It's building homes for people. We don't judge cities by how good their museums are. We judge cities how well do people live in those cities. And I'm building affordable housing in New York, in several sites, in Brooklyn and elsewhere, low cost, because the apartments have to be very small. How do you give them a special view, a uniqueness? How do you bring light and a sense of community to this, block of buildings. That's part of how you plan a city and how you design a building. So it's not just that great luxury towers for those who can afford them, but I'm interested in housing for regular people. And that's a huge challenge because, you know, when you look at it in the marketplace, they are really sad examples of small prisons, boxes. So I'm trying to sort of show that there can be innovation there.
Estamos no Brooklyn, em Nova York. Aqui, cada vez mais moradores, especialmente idosos da comunidade negra, correm risco de pobreza. Falta habitação social. Uma residência para idosos está sendo construída em Bedford-Stuyvesant, com base em um projeto de Daniel Libeskind. Serão quase 200 apartamentos para pessoas de baixa renda, que de outra forma correriam risco de ficar sem teto. Poucos sabem que Daniel Libeskind, o arquiteto dos grandes ícones, também constrói de maneira nada espetacular. No momento, uma área residencial de classe média alta está em construção próxima a Frankfurt, na Alemanha. E há diferenças entre construir na Ásia, Estados Unidos ou Europa? Quais são?
There is a difference of history, definitely. If you build a Chinese building in Warsaw or a Polish building in Beijing, there's something wrong. You've missed the point. You've got the drawings, mixed up. No, each place has a very unique character. It's like a human being. You can't just change that character by putting another photograph in front of it. And of course, the big thing that connects everybody everywhere is that it's always difficult to build. Wherever you are, after thousands of years of development, it's easy for us to do, algorithm, relatively easy, to press a button on a digital, device. AI, but in architecture, you still have to dig in the soil.
E devido às diferenças culturais, a comunicação pode muitas vezes ser um grande desafio. Para o projeto deste museu, na cidade chinesa de Wuhan, o escritório de Libeskind enviou funcionários fluentes em mandarim de Nova York para a China. E quanto às regulamentações, por exemplo, em Singapura ou na China, esses países são mais ou menos rigorosos?
They have regulations everywhere. Everywhere in the world. It's amazing how difficult it is to construct anything anywhere. There is that process. I don't know where it comes from. It comes from somewhere, but who understands it? Everywhere, whether you go to China, whether you go to Europe, South America, United States, some small island, there's regulations. And even in Houston, where I worked, there are no zoning, there's no planning regulation at all, but still, it's kind of a self-regulating system. You can't just build what you want, even though on paper you can.
Você entrou para a arquitetura relativamente tarde. Antes disso, era músico, tocava acordeão. Por que você mudou para a arquitetura?
Why did I change to architecture? I have really no idea. There's no rational. It's not a kind of vocation that I always want to be an architect, and not at all. Somehow, all my interests, in music, in painting, in drawing, in my love for mathematics and geometry and science, somehow all those interests led me to apply to a school of architecture. Although in my life I never met a single architect.
Você ainda se interessa muito por música, diz que a música está ligada à arquitetura e que o edifício tem um certo som. O que você quer dizer com isso?
Well, we are oriented by our sense of the ear. The inner ear is where our sense of balance is, not in the eye. So, of course, acoustics is a key to architecture, has always been. It's not only for spaces that play music that architecture should pay attention, but in any space, the sound, the acoustics of a space are key. And that has always been my interest. Actually, when I designed the Jewish Museum, I remember I created a large model, which I actually tapped to see the evolving sound of the different proportional elements of the Jewish Museum.
E qual é o som do Museu Judaico?
Well, it has silence and it has music as well. It has a complex set of voices, but it also has a sound out of the void. There's that sense of something that comes to you, which is not musical in the sense you would expect it in a big atrium, but a sense of a loss.
You even directed
Você chegou até a dirigir ópera, fez o cenário, esboços e tudo mais aqui em Berlim. Como foi isso?
How come?
Well, I was asked, and I did, Messiaen's great opera, St. Francis of Assisi, and I even did Wagner and Luigi Nono. It's a wonderful thing to be able to be on with music and musicians on the stage, create the staging and costumes, because it all happens so quickly. You know, in architecture, even to do a little building takes years. I always continued my love for music and all those other things that are part of architecture. And it's a great field because not by coincidence is it called the mother of the arts, architecture. It supports all these interests in looking at the stars, in light, in geometry, in dance even, in poetry, in the humanistic arts of geometry and painting.
Mesmo quando era estudante, Daniel Libeskind já se interessava por estruturas complexas. Desenhos abstratos fazem parte de seu trabalho artístico até hoje. Como nesta série de desenhos sobre a relação entre música e arquitetura. As chamadas obras de câmara parecem até partituras musicais e inspiram outros músicos a escrever composições. Depois de prontas, elas fluem para os projetos do arquiteto.
Many students, when I showed this, as a young architect in colleges and universities, said, "Did you take LSD to do this, or did you, what kind of drug?" No, I was doing architecture, but in a path that was not really conventional.
Arquitetura ou arte? Um espírito livre como o de Daniel Libeskind não se restringe à escolha. Ao longo dos anos, ele permaneceu fiel a todos os seus interesses. Os desenhos de Libeskind resultaram, por exemplo, em uma contribuição importante para a Bienal de Arquitetura de Veneza de 2014. No pavilhão veneziano, ele transferiu a imagem de seus desenhos do papel para placas de vidro de grande formato que foram usadas para estruturar o espaço. Para o arquiteto, desenhar é um ponto de partida e um meio para moldar o futuro. E falando em futuro, como ele vê o próprio? Você tem um apartamento em Berlim e vem de vez em quando, às vezes também por mais tempo. O que você pretende fazer? Vai construir em Berlim?
Well, I'm lucky, now with remote working technologies, which I have become a specialist during COVID. We can work anywhere in the world with a whole team with drawings, and I can draw as exactly as I would do it in my studio in New York. So when I'm in Berlin, I don't think I'm on vacation. I'm working around the world, and it's a wonder that the world has become really more connected and more there's a solidarity in work that hasn't even existed before because you have to be in this place or in that place, otherwise you are not anywhere. So I love this part of what happened, that I can be in a city that I love, Berlin, a city in New York I love, and be in between and be connected and be creative.
Você só precisa do seu computador e seus desenhos?
Yes. You need a pencil? I don't have even a computer. I just have an iPad. I just have a screen which I get connected. You need a pencil, piece of paper, or a screen. That's it. I mean, it's kind of a field that almost needs nothing to do. Of course, we have in our studios computers and also sophisticated gadgetry, but actually, as long as architecture is an art, it's always going to come from the heart, from the soul, from the eye, and from the hand. It's never going to come up from some sort of Kubrick, 2001 machine of the future. It will come from a human being. And that's good, because when it comes from machines, I think it'll turn us into machines too.
One last question, yes.
Uma última pergunta. Você está com 75 anos e cheio de energia e otimismo. Como você faz isso?
How do you do this?
Well, it's just by good luck. As long as your mind and your body are healthy, you can enjoy life. Enjoy it when you have it, because it doesn't happen twice. As long as you can do it, do what you love to do, because Who's ever going to go and sit, on a beach and get a suntan and do nothing? You're always, every human being is creative. Everybody should use their creativity as long as they can. And when they can't, they should turn off the switch.
Você tem algo em mente que gostaria de fazer?
No, I'm doing it right now.
Esse foi o Camarote 21 de hoje. Até semana que vem.